I can hear the collective moans and groans and cries of absolute terror right now. When you look at this problem, I too, like you, probably kind of, wait a second, this is going to be big. Your first thoughts are to be slightly intimidated. But you're all very smart, skilled mathematicians that know the process as to how to solve this problem. So take a deep breath and trust the process. All right, let's jump into this. We're going to drop a line, rewrite our numbers. Of, as we know, equals multiplication. And 84, any whole number, in order to make it a fraction, you simply put it over 1. So 84 over 1. You know this part. You're rock stars at this part. Trust the process. It doesn't change. Now we need to find the factors. A shared factor of 42 and 84. Now there are a lot. They're both even, so you know that 2 is a factor of both of them. But what is the highest factor? What is the highest factor that goes into each? Well, I want to show you another page. Let's get a clean sheet of paper here. And we're going to work it out to the side. Because in math, when you practice smaller numbers, you may not need to do these on the side. But when you get into larger problems, a lot of work goes on around the problem that helps you solve the problem. And this is one of those things. We're doing this off to the side here to figure out what is the highest shared factor. So let's break this down. Here's your factor tree for both 42 and your factor tree for 84. The first one should always be that number times 1. Every time. I highly encourage you to do that because it establishes right away that and reminds you that both 1 and that number are factors of that number. Don't forget that. Let's break it down further. 6 times 7. As we know, 7 can't be broken down except for 7 times 1. And in this case, we don't need to do that. But 6 can certainly be broken down. Now, we can't break down 3 and 2 any further than that. Let's jump over to 84. 84 is even, as we've already said. So we know that it can be divided by 2. So what times 2 equals 84? How about 42? 42 times 2 equals 84. Now, we could continue to break this down, but do we need to? Not really, because way back here, we already found our highest shared factor of 84 and 42. They both share 42 as a factor. Take a quick mental snapshot of this. We're going to go back to our page. Now, knowing that 42 is the highest common factor, let's go ahead and divide. 42 divided by 42 is 1. 84 divided by 42 is 2. And if you needed a quick check, go back to your work and check. 84 divided by 2, there's your fact triangle. 84 divided by 2 is 42. You did the work. Don't be afraid to go back and check it. All right. Now our second operational step. First we divided diagonally. Second we multiply straight across. 1 times 1 on the denominator is 1. 23 times 2. Okay, if you don't know that right away, let's get a clean sheet of paper. Our problem is 23 times 2. Don't be afraid to do this, as simple as this might seem. Work it out to make sure. Don't just rely on everything in your head. You have the paper, use it. So 23 times 2. I prefer, in this case, to use the lattice method. 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. Check your work. 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. Everything's written down. As we know, I'm going to put a little highlighter here for you to know which to add at this point. So 6 times nothing is 6. 0 plus 4 is 4. And then 0 plus, well, nothing is 0, so you don't need to write it in the front of the number. Check your work. Seems to look fine. 46. 23 times 2 is 46. Remember that. And we write it here, because again, we multiply across. Now we wouldn't say 46 over 1, we've been through this. We would simply put that back into a whole number. And do I need to remind you where to put this? Trust the process. It will save you every time. 23 42 of 84 equals 46.